Yaakov, where'd you get that background from, Yaakov?
Oh, you like that, huh?
I love it.
The guy, I didn't realize it was on. The guy.
Well, I already took a picture.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Who did that to you?
The guys in the Balchuva chair. The guys in the Balchuva chair found out that it was my birthday, so they made that picture.
As long as
I almost did it. I was thinking of doing that, by the way, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Someday we believe you.
All right. How's it going, everybody? Okay, sorry, Mincha ran a little late. Jesse's on there? How you doing, Jesse?
Hanging on.
All right. Fu shalema to you. Okay, so basically, yesterday we were discussing Tumah and tahor of Trumah. Right? So we said a case of what happens if you have wheat or any vegetable that's tamei, right? And you replant it. So we said that it's not tamei enough to make something else tamei, but it itself. Okay, I'm gonna have to go someplace quiet. So, it itself stays tamei. So we're trying to figure out why that is. Yeah, so the Gemara went back and forth, and the Gemara said that the reason why it's tamei is because there was hesach hadas. There was hesach hadas from the Trumah, so Mele becomes tamei. So we had a machlokes, Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan, whether the Tumah of hesach hadas means that there's something tamei about it, right? Or is there something tamei about it, or it's a suffix Tumah, right? So that's what we're trying to prove back and forth. So now we're 4 lines down from the bottom. I'm sorry, 4 lines down from the top on Lamed Dalet on the base. Yeah, we have it. So Eisvei, they asked the kasha, Nitmai Nifsal Habasar Aisha Yatsa Chutz L'Klayim. So basar became tamei or passul, meaning a carbon, or when added a Klayim literally means the curtains, but it means added a Beis Hamikdash. So that makes a passul. So Rabbi Eliezer, I'm a Yisrael. So what you do is what do you do with the blood? The animal got taken out after the shechita. The animal got taken out of the Beis Hamikdash, right? And but the blood wasn't yet sprinkled on the mezbeach. Now the main part of a carbon is the blood being sprinkled on the mezbeach. So the question is, the carbon became passul or tamei. Now should you sprinkle the blood, or you just throw out the whole thing and finish? Right, so Rabbi Eliezer, I'm Yisrael. What you do is you still throw the blood onto the mezbeach. Rabbi Yeshua, I'm Yisrael. He says you don't do it because it's done. It's passul anyway. So what's the point of putting it on the mezbeach? But Rabbi Yeshua says that if you did put on the blood, then the carbon counts. Meaning you can have a carbon that's passul, but the question is, does the owner of the carbon have to bring another carbon, or is he yaitze? Right, so Yeshua is saying that even if you did throw the blood, certainly if you don't throw the blood on the mezbeach, you're not yaitze. That's for sure. You put it on, right? Certainly if you throw the blood on the mezbeach, if you don't throw the blood on the mezbeach, you're not yaitze. Shaila, should you do it anyways? So it's a machlokes. But Yeshua says if you did it, then the carbon is good. So my nifsal. So what does nifsal here mean? La behesach hadas. Doesn't nifsal here mean? How do you get a carbon that's passul that's not tamei? Doesn't it mean behesach hadas? So meaning that somebody forgot about it. See, Amr Pishlama, 1, 2, 3, yeah. See, Amr Pishlama, Psul like Tumah Havi. So if you say it's a Psul Tumah, Hana the Mashkachas of the Maratzi tzitz. So now the tzitz is the thing on the top of the Kohen's head that, hold on, I'm just switching devices because my phone is going crazy. You did it?
This meeting is
Sorry, can you hear me? Everybody hear me? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So tzitz. Yeah, sorry. So the tzitz is what makes the carbon count, right? So if we say that he sprinkled the dam and the mizbeach anyways, so that's how the tzitz could be meratzid, because it was tamei aliyam or psul haguf havi. But if it's a psul in the guf, meaning if there's actually something tamei in the in the carbon on my hutza tzitz. Why does it tzitz work? So my nifsal, so Gemara answers. So whatever. So before that, so the kasha is, so the tzitz can only work if something's tamei, right, or anything like that. But if there's actually something intrinsically wrong with the carbon, then the tzitz is not gonna make it work. So Abazai here, if you're saying that it's a hesach hadas issue, and the hesach hadas issue is a psul haguf, so then the tzitz can't help you. So the Gemara answers, my nifsal b'tful yoim. No, it means that a tful yoim touched it. Tful yoim is somebody who toiveled already on the 7th day of the Tumah. He toiveled already, but he still needs to wait for the night. So that tful yoim still makes things tamei. So it's talking about where a tful yoim touched it. So that's what it means, passul. It's not going to become tamei, but it's going to become passul. But it's the same thing as tamei. The bottom line is the carbon became tamei. So Gemara says trei gavnei tamei. You know, there's 2 types of tumah. Right? There's tumah that's a stronger tumah, and then there's tumah that became tumah from a tful yoin. But it does not mean a hesach hadas. Okay, so we disprove. We try to prove one way, and then we disprove it. So kisalik rabbanon, when the rabbanon went up to Eretz Yisrael, Amr l'shmaitze kamedu Rav Yirmiyah. He said over this whole Gemara.
Ravin.
I'm sorry. Kisalik Ravin. When Ravin went up to Eretz Yisrael, Amr l'shmaitze kamedu Rav Yirmiyah. He said the Shmaitz in front of Yirmiyah. Yeah.
If I go to a Kohen's house with Trumah, I give it to his family. He's not home, so it becomes Trumah becomes tamei because he doesn't have any dots on it.
Yeah, somebody has to be watching it. Yeah, but who says the wife or the kids can't watch it?
I don't know.
I think so. As long as somebody's watching it, then it's fine.
But watching or has das on it that there's Trumah here. I'm confused.
No, I think as long as they're watching it. I think as long as they're watching it. And I realize that I'm not up to Mishnayos Trumah yet. That's my next Masechta. So Baruch Hashem, I don't have such chalishus adas that I learned it a few weeks ago. So.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yes, okay, so let's see. So Kisalik Rabbanon, I'm sorry, Rabin, when Rabin, I don't know why I keep reading it, Rabbanon. Yeah, Kisalik Rabin, when Rabin went up, Amr l'shmaitze kamedu Rav, somebody's got to mute. Kisalik, please, thank you. Kisalik Rabin, Amr l'shmaitze kamedu Rav Yirmiyah. He said the Shmaitz in front of Rav Yirmiyah. Amr Bavaloi tipshai. The people from Bavel are stupid, right? Because they live in a dark land. On recent Shmaitz the Machashku, they also say dark pshatim. Did you not hear what Reb Shimon ben Lakish says in the name of Rabbi Yoshia? That me'achag. So this is talking. Me'achag is the water that they use by the Simchas Beis HaSheva on Sukkos, right? So that's the only time they pour water on the mezbeach is on Sukkos. So me'achag. So what happens if that water became tamei? So what do you do with it? So basically what you do is you take the water in a kli, you put it down into the shiloach that goes by the Beis HaMikdash, and when that water connects to the water of the shiloach, it makes the water back to tahor. Sort of what they say to do if you have to toivel a kli on a Friday night and you're not allowed to toivel kalim. So what you do is you fill it up with water, and then you attach it to a mikvah, and then you can do it that way. So, but whatever it is, that's what they would do. So me'achag shenitmu hashikon, if you did this hashaka, literally it comes from the word kissing. You kiss the water to what's in the pot, and afterwards you make it hekdesh, tahor, then it's fine. Hekdesh, but if you made the water hekdesh first, and then you went and you touched it to the water that's in the river, then tamei, the water is tamei, meaning the hashaka doesn't work. So the Gemara says, michti is riyaninu. What you're doing is you're basically replanting it, right? Basically the water that's supposed to be poured in the mezbeach that became tamei. So what are you doing by putting it into the water of the river? You're replanting it in the water, and then you're taking something out new, right? So why doesn't it work? What's the difference? Which one do you do first, right? It should become tar. Alma ain't real hekdesh. So you see, hekdesh does not have a replanting, and therefore it's not going to make it tar again. Hachanami ain't real trumah. So therefore, replanting these vegetables, right, that the Gemara said way back on Amud Aleph, is not going to make them tar, and therefore that's why they still remain tamei even when you plant them. Fine. So Yasser Rav Dimi v'kam lalashma. So Rav Dimi said this Gemara over. Amar le Abaya. Abaya said, hekdeshan bekli kamar. Is this talking about when you makdish something that's in a kli? Because there's different ways of being makdish things. You can make makdish things just by mouth, by saying, oh, this thing is hekdesh. Or you can be makdish something by putting it into a kli of hekdesh, and then that automatically makes it hekdesh. So by putting it into a kli of hekdesh, for sure that makes it kodesh, and therefore you have this mila of all the milas that we're going to see, that you have to treat them with more respect. Right, but what about by mouth? But by mouth, the Rabbanan didn't make this mila, and you don't have to be as careful. Or do we say that by mouth also the Rabbanan made a mila? So I didn't hear any pshat in this, but I heard something similar. You have grapes that became tamei, which we discussed 2 days ago. Darchan, you step on them, and then you make them into hekdesh, then they're going to be tar. Right, which we said is, but that's because the grapes inside don't become tamei. The liquid that's inside the grapes, the juice, doesn't become tamei with the grapes. But if you make it first kodesh and then you step on it, tamei, and it's tamei. Right? The kedusha's pen. How do you make grapes kodesh? You don't put into a kli. You say, hey, these grapes are kodesh. And still the Rabbanan made a mila, right? So you see that it's not only things that go into a kli that become hekdesh that have a mila, it's also things that you say by your mouth. So Rabbi Yosef, you're talking about grapes. We're not talking about hekdesh, we're talking about grapes that are made of trumah. The kedusha's pad, the two kedusha's kli. Making something trumah with your mouth is the equivalent of making something hekdesh in a kli. So therefore, you have no proof. But things that need a kli with a mouth will not make it into hekdesh. Right? So you have no proof now if hekdesh, by making something verbally hekdesh, does that also get the mila of hekdesh? Okay, so then the Gemara says, Darchan vafilu tuva, means that you're allowed to step on grapes, as many grapes as you want. Did Rabbi Yochanan say this? Right, we had this 2 days ago. Grapes that became tamei, darchan pachas mikabetza. You can't just step on unlimited amounts of grapes. You got to do less than an egg's worth, right? Because if you do more than an egg's worth, then it's going to become tamei. Something that's less than an egg can't become tamei. So you have to do a less than egg. So what are you saying, that you could just step on an unlimited amount of grapes? So no, here also means you did it less. It doesn't mean you just did an unlimited amount. There it's talking about where you touched it with a rishon. Right? I mean, a person was a rishon, the guy stepping on the grapes. I hate to bring back bad memories at the end of the first parak, but that's right. You have the order: rishon, sheni, shlishi, and revi. Right? So the havalu inu sheni. So then the grapes, the first grapes are a sheni. And a hacha, that's one case. So there you can't do unlimited amount. Hacha the dagu b'sheni. Here, the person that's doing the grapes is a sheni, which means the first grape, the havalu shlishi. So then it's a shlishi, and therefore once it's a shlishi, by truma it can't make a revi. Truma, right? There's no 3 is the end of the line for truma. So therefore there's no problem. You can do unlimited amount of grapes. It's just a matter of math. Who's the one that's stepping on the grapes? Is it a rishon or is it a sheni or is it a shlishi? Right? It says in the pasuk that when you're taking the water for the para aduma, you have to take the mayim chayim. It has to be from a mayim chayim, from a spring, and put it into a kli. It has to be, literally means it has to be live in the kli, meaning you have to put the kli into the water, into the stream, to get the water for the para, for the ephra para, for the ashes. You can't take it from one kli, put it into another kli. V'nasan, and put it alma tlushin. So you see, they are. But then it says v'nasan. Then you put it. So then that sounds like tlushin. They are detached. Again, it seems to be a stira. It says v'nasan olav mayim chayim el keli. V'nasan means that you put it into the kli, which sounds like you took it from the river, put it into the kli, right? And mayim chayim sounds like, no, it has to be alive, that you have to put the kli into the river and take it straight out. Right? So again, v'nasan ala mayim chayim akeli shetei chiyusan bekli. it's that it should be live in the kli. Nasan alma, and then Nasan says alma telushin. It sounds like it's detached, meaning you take it from a kli in Nasan into another kli. Right? But we just said it has to be attached. So which way is it? So on to Amud Aleph. No, really, midaraisa, you could put it into a cup and then pour it into a cup. But they made a mila. They made a mila by something that's so kaddish like this, right? For the ephah para, that you shouldn't use a kli. It should go straight in. So too they made a mila. So Amar Avsimi Barashi, Afananamatini. We also learned that there's such a concept of making a mila by hekdesh. Tava Allah. If somebody was toivel, right? A Matzaira who was toivel and then he comes out of the water, right when he comes out, even though his tumah is not going to be till that night, right? Yeah. Then, the truth is really not becoming Tumah. He's only becoming Tumah the next day, on the 8th day. Matzaira, it's toivel on the 7th day, right? He has to shave his whole body and he has to bring the karbonos, right? And then he shaves his body again. Understand? Then he goes to the mikvah. Then he brings the karbonos on the 8th day. That's pretty much the order. So once he toivels, what's his status? He's tahor, but he still has to go through the 8th day. So tavav Allah, if he toivels and he comes up, oichel b'maiser, he could eat maiser. Hair of shemshay, once it reaches the night of the 7th, then oichel b'trumah. He's allowed to eat trumah. So Gemara says, b'trumah in b'kodshim lai. He can eat trumah. He can't eat kodshim. Amai taru. He's tar. What do you mean? He went to the mikvah. Ella Mila, no, they made a Mila for kodshim. Hachanami Mila, so they made a Mila for kodshim. Even though it really is tar, he's allowed to eat trumah, but they made a Mila. Fine. Amar Ravashi, Hafananami Tinina, V'habasar, right? It says V'habasar, by a regular korban shlamim, it says V'habasar. The rabbis, as ha'etzim levina comes to include that the wood and the levina cannot become, you have to make sure they also don't become tamei. Wood, eitzim levina, b'nei atmuyin, can they become tamei? Right? They're not food. Right? So what do we care to become tamei? Ella Mila, Hachanami Mila. No, they made a Mila by kodshim. So too by kodshim, we see that anytime you have anything by kodshim, there's always Milas. There's the Rabbanan Dikadin, where for kodshim we treat it with a higher degree of respect. So therefore, you always have these Milas, but you can't necessarily learn anything out of them because it's miyuchad for kodshim. Okay. Fine. Everybody should have an easy rest of the fast. I don't know what to do with the shaila. People are asking the shaila now, just to leave you with an interesting shaila. Is it better to take medicine now? Is it better to take medicine now on the fast with a little bit of water, or Shabbos when there's an Issa Refuah?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't know.
Presumably, it depends what the medicine is for.
No, but if you know that can you avoid? Listen, if somebody has a big headache on Shabbos, then they could.
If you don't know, you're asking us?
I'm just throwing it out there. We all have dots.
Okay.
Everybody has some brains.
If someone has a big headache on Shabbos, he's allowed to, but the same exact person is not required to fast.
So what are you saying?
You should take now. There's no fast day for him. Not a fast.
Well, no, we're talking about a guy who could fast.
Yeah, Koil Shein by Sakana is the guy that can fast. He's just Koil Shein by Sakana.
Right.
There's no Sakana V'Tainus for Koil Shein by Sakana. No?
Yeah, but so we understand. So what are you saying?
Why should he fast? He has no chiyuv to fast, Mitzvah. Going into Shabbos, he has a chiyuv at least to try for Shabbos.
No, but he knows that he's going to get a headache on Shabbos.
Oh,
he takes this now. He won't get the headache.
One now.
Does he have a headache right now?
What?
Does he have a headache right now?
Yes.
Where's the bachelor?
So if he has a headache right now that's bad enough for him to take medication on Shabbos, he's not mechuyev in tainus.
He's not. He just has a headache. He knows that if he takes an Advil, he can get rid of the headache and he's fine.
On a regular Shabbos, on a regular fast day, what would you tell a guy who had this level of headache? Would you let him take an Advil?
Yes, of course. I always let him right away.
Why doesn't he just take Advil without medicine, without water?
And a Hanami, but let's Harold's 100% right. Advil without water for sure you take now, not on. That's no big deal.
But I'm saying on a regular tinus, if a guy says I have a headache that's so bad I need an Advil, would you let him take the Advil with water?
Yes.
So what's the shiloh? I don't, just because it's Erev Shabbos?
Meaning the guy can hold out with taking some water on the tinus, but then he's gonna have to take it.
No, but you said that you would let him take it with water if he had this level headache without Shabbos.
Right.
So why are you overcomplicating things? If he's allowed to take it on a regular day, you could take it today.
Because the fast is over in an hour and he could survive. On a regular fast, he would wait an hour and he wouldn't have it.
No, so that's what I asked you. I asked you on a regular fast, would you make him wait or you would let him take it now?
Well, that's you asking, would I make him wait? It's up to him. If his headache's real bad, I'll tell him take it now.
Okay, so I'm saying
then the same thing.
Right, so that's the same thing. Why is he any worse?
What? So I know. So no, but the guy's saying I could hold out an hour. I don't understand. The guy's saying I could hold out an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a regular guy on a regular fast, if he said he could hold out an hour, you would tell him don't take it.
If he says he could hold out, so don't take it. I'm saying it's up to them.
So what was the psak?
The psak is I said take it now, but I'm not so confident on it. I agree to you guys basically, but I'm not so confident. Yeah.
What would be the tzad to say to wait?
What would be the tzad to wait?
Yeah.
Because if you have a headache on Shabbos, it's mutter to take medicine. Well, it's mutter. It's not also.
I really am having this shiloh right now.
Oh, so there you go.
Only thing is, my daughter is fasting. She's bas mitzvah. I'm the only one here that's fast. My wife doesn't. I'm pushing it off for her, really.
Just take it.
I'm
having
He should smoke another cigarette, Gershon. That's what I think.
That I for sure will. It's not that I have 40 minutes to Shabbos. So yeah.
Okay, fine.
What do you call it? Gershon, I'm not so sure you have to fast in the first place.
I don't think I do, but I do it for her. If I need to take a pill, if I'm that bad that I need to take a painkiller, I'm not fasting. But
what?
My definition of when I need to take a painkiller is about 3 days after everyone else.
Right, I hear that. Yeah.
When's Matzah Shabbos?
Oh, 8 o'clock.
Tomorrow night.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Parrot.
Thank you, Parrot.
Listen, this has been. I don't think I've ever been sober by Kabbalah Shabbos in the last 30 years.
What happened to 8:15? I really liked 8:15. Can we go back to 8:15?
8:15 was 8:15 changed.
What's Shabbos?
Yeah.
Because then you can be on. What time is Shabbos over there?
Matzah Shabbos this week is 8:04, I think.
Okay, so by the time we get rolling,
I know, but I got down Marv. I got to say Abdullah.
What's it? You don't daven Marv before Shabbos is over?
I don't, and I usually try not to.
I want to say you daven Marv at 72.
The doesn't have to take.
No, not.
You are Hamish shtick.
Oh, very good.
What's have to do with us? What's have to do with us?
No, okay, fine. If let's say I down Mar before, but it's still 8:04, and then I still have to make Havdalah. Next iron, you're not going to want me to sing Hamavdil either.
Right. But you're right. We have to push it later. The problem is that the ladies bounced us on the 9 o'clock slot.
Right.
Right. So that's the problem. So 9:15, you know what I mean? We got to make sure there's not a bunch of these, people drinking when they get onto the shear at 9:15, whatever is smoking, drinking, whatever, they're gonna run the other way. So that's why 8 o'clock. But you're right, we'll have to push it a little later.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to see maybe you'll break 300 this week, Tiago.
Yeah, we'll see. Usually the second week it's much schwacher. So that's
I know, but you didn't tweet it. Yeah, but you didn't tweet it. 1,400 people found out about it this week that didn't know about it last week.
Yeah, no, most of them, whatever. Most of it's not negay, it's mostly Bachram.
Oh, okay.
All right, fine.
Thank you.
Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Why would a bacher want to know a kashrus Charlotte his dira? That's beyond me.
That's right. That's why they're not tuning in.
They
don't
want to know
want
if they can use an iron to heat up a slice of pizza.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right.
Have a good
Fine.
Shabbos,
Good
Yashikaya.
Shabbos,
Now I'm
everybody.
getting all the shilas of all the people that
Shabbos.
ate by mistake in the last half hour. That's what's coming through now. What? Yep. I almost did it myself a few times. Yeah. All right, fine. Okay. Have a good Shabbos.
I'll do a good Shabbos.